welcome back to another episode of Make a Writer's Day. Today we will be talking about color-coded candy sorting. It's a quirk of mine, and I know a few people have it too, where you take certain things like M&Ms or those sweet and sour candy bears, and you sort them out by color and you eat them by color. Then we'll be talking about kaleidoscopes, how they were made, who invented them, and how they relate to writing as far as toys go in your writing, whether or not you have toys, or even technology. And then we'll be going into blurbs and how you should construct your blurb, how long it should be, what you should put into it, and everything else. Then I'll have 2 books to review today. So let's jump into it. Color-coded candy sorting. Okay, so I have a weird quirk, and I already know that M&Ms are basically chocolate and a color candy coating. Say that 10 times fast. Color candy coating. Anyway, so what I do is when I get a bag of M&Ms, it doesn't matter if they're peanut, even though those are my favorite, or the plain chocolate, caramel, whatever. I dump them out, and then I see how many of each color I have, and then I pair them up with a different color, and I eat them 2 at a time until I get down to whatever's left, which kind of irks me a little bit if I have like 2 greens and a red or something, but I'll eat them all at the same time. I know, it's weird. I'm weird, but I know for a fact, I've been talking to somebody who does the same thing, but a little bit different. They will not pair them up. They eat them individually. They don't like mixing the colors to eat them. And one thing that I like to do is on the gummy worms, the trolley worms. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with those, but they got a blue end and a red end, a green end and an orange end, a yellow end and a red end. I only like the pinkish red and the blues. I will not eat the other ones. And I don't know if it's because the flavor's off or what, because they're the exact candy inside and out. I don't even think that the flavors change that much. I just want the red and the blue together, or the pink and the blue, whichever colors, you find. Then with Skittles, I eat them, I group them all together, and then I eat them from least favorable flavor to the best favorable flavor. Meaning I eat them from green to yellow to orange to purple to red. If that's not the weirdest quirk you ever heard, I don't know what is. I also recently found out that Skittle flavors supposedly are the exact same flavor all the way down, but the color makes you think you're eating a different flavor. I honestly don't know how much scientific fact there is to that, but it's kind of a bummer because I have had to eat a handful of them all at the same time, and they do not taste all the same. It's like a nasty mixture of flavors. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I would love to hear from y'all and see what kind of candy colored sorting quirks you have. If you don't eat the brown ones like I've seen in a movie, pretty sure, what movie was that where he doesn't eat the brown ones? It was a Jennifer Lopez movie where she's a maid, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. But she meets the guy and he doesn't eat the brown ones, or she doesn't eat the brown ones. One of them doesn't eat the brown ones. I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. But then there's folks who only eat the red candies. Like with Jolly Ranchers, I will only eat the cherries. Do not want the other flavors at all. Doesn't matter if it's the suckers, the hard candies, the chews, anything. Starbursts, only cherry. Laffy Taffy, however, I will only eat the banana. It's weird because it doesn't even taste like a banana. So hit me up with your quirks, anything you would want for me to talk about in my nonsense portion. We're fixing to move on to the Did You Know portion. Get ready for some kaleidoscopes. All right, kaleidoscopes. So these were kind of happened upon by accident as far as a funsie. The man who invented them is a Scotsman. He's an inventor, or he was, excuse me. He's probably dead, or at least I hope he's dead because he was in the 1814s. He was alive in 1814. So he was doing light polarization experiments and putting plates of glass together and seeing how the light refracts and everything. And he shifted them and noticed circular patterns. So he started adding more plates to it with different colors and everything to see how they interacted. And he found that it's unquantifiable how many patterns you can make with them, depending on what you put into them. And I really wish I had a kaleidoscope with me right now to show y'all. My mom has this beautiful one. It is a stained glass airplane. It's got the propeller. It's a double propeller that's different color stained glass, and you spin it and it shows you through the back of the plane the light refractions. And I actually have some really cool pictures that I took of that, and my mom was wondering if I could take pictures through the end of the kaleidoscope and get anything from them. So I stuck my camera lens right up the butt of it, spun those suckers around, and got some gorgeous photos. They're a little foggy, I guess I could say, a little foggy, because I didn't think to wipe the dust off of this thing before I did all of it. We were just trying to experimenting, and just like this guy who created them. So that pulls me into my next portion of this, is toys in your writing. Kaleidoscopes are fun toys. You stick them up towards the light, you twist them around, and you're mesmerized. I don't even know how many kids actually play with those now. I know they make them in like cheap plastic and cardboard. They get crushed really easy, and they got these little plastic pieces in the end of them. But really nice, really good kaleidoscopes, I haven't seen any in a long time. The only reason I know that they can be beautifully made and fragile, actually, a lot more fragile than the cardboard ones, is because of my mom, who has one. And it makes me think of toys in writing, and whether or not you have children, or if you depict like your adult main character viewing children playing with toys, what kind of toys are they playing with? In my novel, Strange Glow Collective, at the very beginning, you meet the two main characters when they're children. And you meet them at one point when the male main character has the female main character's dolls. She has two dolls. I don't fully describe them because they're not that important, but I describe them enough that they have on clothing and they're stiff and they're small. So I guess you could maybe chalk them up to corn husk dolls with little not so detailed clothing on. Or they could have been porcelain. I don't know. This family was a disowned noble, so maybe he had a little bit of money on him at the time, or maybe he made enough money, or maybe he used saved money. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't get a whole lot of detail into that because that's not part of the real main story. But do your characters have a form of child play? Do they have fake swords? Do they have little technological things? Because back when I was young, in the early 2000s and the late 90s, there were these little robotic dogs, and they were all the rage. And they were white, and they had the little eyes that lit up, and the little flappy ears, and they did tricks and everything, and they did that little robotic bark. So your futuristic sci-fi novels could have something along those lines. They could be like lightsabers that don't hurt them, like fake lightsabers, if Star Wars even had that. I know the children who were training to be Jedis used real lightsabers, but say the children who wished they were Jedis, did they have some form of fake lightsaber to play with? It was essentially almost like a flashlight. I don't know. It's just a thought. And you Star Wars, high knowledgeable Star Wars fans out there probably are laughing at me. That's okay, because I'm laughing at myself. What kind of maybe stuffed animals do they have? Or rocking horses, little army men. Army men have been around forever. They used to be made out of lead. So, with really bad, toxic paint jobs too. So, it could be wooden ones. Any kind of toys. What kind of toys are in your writing? If you have anything that you would like to add to this, maybe a topic of discussion that you would want me to feature, hit me up in the comments, hit me up on Twitter, anything. I'm so down for talking about what y'all want to talk about. Which moves me on to my next portion, the writing advice. Blurbs! Alright, so blurbs. They are usually the little bitty bit that you get on the back of the book. Hello, this is Binks. Binks says hi. He's very curious and he wants to be in the video. So, they go on the backs of the novels, usually just a little bit of tidbit of information about the plot, or about the characters, or about the villain, even. But it's just enough that it doesn't give anything away, and it hooks the reader into wanting to open the book at least, or at least buy the book. Even if the cover doesn't grab their eye, even if they don't really know you as an author, if they feel the need, if they feel that blurb is good enough, they'll at least buy the book. It's just me. That's just me. The cover catches my eyes sometimes. The title will catch my eye sometimes. But that blurb is what it sinks my teeth into buying it, at least. So I try to add in a little bit of the beginning of the book, a little bit of the middle of the book, and then I leave the ending as a question as to how it's going to end, obviously. So on blurbs, it's short and sweet. Short and sweet, even shorter than the synopsis. The synopsis is basically what your whole book is about condensed. And I'm sure a lot of y'all already know that. But some people are a little confused between the synopsis and the difference between the blurb. Blurb, like that big. Unless, of course, your book's like that tall and you make it in big letters like I did. Anyway, tell me what y'all would like for me to discuss as far as writing advice. I'm open to anything, to discussing anything. I'm by no means an expert, but I will share my experiences with y'all. And I will share what I've learned through my writing processes with y'all. So, let's get on to the book reviews. Okay, so I was only able to read 2 books this week because one of them was very lengthy and the other one was pretty lengthy too, but I wanted to make sure that I got at least 2 books into this video. So, the first book we're going to talk about is Child of Destiny, the Rising Saga Book 1. It was good. I liked it. But for me, It was a little slow. The ending left you on a bit of a cliffhanger. So you want to go into book 2. It's got mystery, it's got magic, and in my opinion, just my opinion, don't base your buying of this book solely off of me. Check it out first. It's more suited for a junior high to middle high school age person. That's just me. That's why I said it was slow going. So what I said is this book for me was slow going and more suited to a junior high to high school reader. However, I do believe it is a very good start to a good series full of magic, deceit, mystery, and characters. How will Lavaine stop the tyranny? So it's about her having a vision and the king of the land searching out those who have visions and trying to get rid of them so that they can't overthrow him, pretty much. That's the gist that I got. And so she was able to run away and get away, and they chased after her, and the king sent his warlocks after her, and she met up with some folks, and they were able to safely get her out of that place. Haven't read book 2 yet, so I don't know how she's faring as of right now. But it's a good start. So if you have junior high age children, high school age children, and they're really into high fantasy and epic fantasies and stuff like that, they would love this book. The second book that I read is The Final Wars Begin, the Final Wars Saga, Book 1. And it's actually my second favorite so far through reading through this list. It's gritty, it's shocking at times. I was like, whoa, okay, we're going there. So what I wrote was, this book took me by surprise from my expectations and is most definitely my second favorite so far. Sci-fi set in the sewers of a nuked planet where only Parisians were left on Earth, the Japanese were able to escape to the moon, and Aussies live on Mars, where they tried to terraform it. So when the planet got nuked, they fled over there. This fun-filled, action-packed start to a trilogy pulls you through the muck and grime of war, famine, and desolation to a great cliffhanger ending. I'm curious to know how Bastion makes it through the impending battles yet to come. So, cliffhanger ending. I don't know how the rest of the books go, but it is a wonderful start to a kind of a tragic story, sort of. Like, he's in this new Paris where that's the only part of Earth that survived, and he's filth, feces, dying people right next to you, and he's just trying to get on with his life, and he's dragged into the Queen of New Paris's ego and made useful as a tool, basically an assassin. And then he's pulled into her sister's thing, and then he's pulled into the people he was running away from's thing, and now he blames himself for this, like, World War IV basically that's happening. And it's just really good, and you should read it. It is definitely an adult book. I do not recommend, your 13-year-old reading it unless you really don't care about them cuss words and sexual scenes and stuff like that. But it's a really good book. So if you're into those things as an adult, definitely read it. Pretty much that's all I've got today. Next week, fingers crossed, I will have 3 books read, and section 1, which was 14 books long, section 1 will be done. Hopefully next week. Then we'll start on to section 2, which is a much shorter list, and it should be done in 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Fingers crossed, because I can only read so fast. So, tell me what you want me to talk about in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. Subscribe, hit the like button. And obviously, don't forget to make a writer's day. I'll see y'all again. Bye.